I know the feeling, bro. You wake up in the morning to get dressed for yet another shitty, boring, long-ass day at the office, and you're dreading every single minute about what's to come, feeling sick at just the thought of having to see your smug boss's face for yet another day. But as this is your job, you feel obliged to go in. I mean, if you didn't go in, mate, your whole life would fall apart, wouldn't it? At least that's the narrative that you've invented within the four walls of your head. So you choose to proceed to the kitchen, only to force cereal down your throat whilst your eyes are still half closed from only sleeping 4 hours the night before. And as you sit there with a mouthful of crave, feeling depressed and fed up, you think to yourself, is life seriously always going to be this way? Well, as I said, bro, I know the feeling. I mean, I've literally lost count of the amount of time I've wasted working to fund somebody else's riches. I've worked in supermarkets, I've worked in kitchens, I've worked in schools, and I've worked in just your typical day-to-day office jobs. And what I've learned is quite simply, they are all as bad as each other. They all suck the soul out of your body. So let's just cut the bullshit here, man, because working a 9-to-5 job for somebody else is depressing. I hated the idea that I could have been doing this for another 40 years of my life. I mean, it literally made me feel sick to the stomach, bro. And every single day I wished there was a way out of it. Thankfully though, I've now found quite a few different ways to make this possible and escape this just completely outdated bullshit system. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, I'd suggest you stick around to watch some more of this video, mate, because actually it's not as complicated as you probably think it is. You see, the funny thing is, bro, it's not always necessarily the job itself that's the issue, because some jobs are actually very rewarding, but it's the fact that you have no time to yourself. 9-to-5 jobs give you no time to do the things that you really want to do. You have no time to go to the gym, you have no time to cook a nice healthy meal. I mean, Christ, you hardly even have time to think for yourself. And if you are one of those people that say, it's not bad though, I guarantee you probably hate being employed just as much as everybody else, and trying to convince yourself that you are content with the restricted lifestyle you are living gives you just about enough reason to not quit and pursue something else. In fact, I guarantee that if you are the kind of person that says this kind of thing, I guarantee you're probably also the kind of person that says things like, living the dream, whenever somebody asks you how your day is going at work. The other one that really just makes me cringe is, it's all fun and games, ha ha ha. Honestly, man, it just really just, it isn't either of these things. Stop trying to convince yourself that you are satisfied with your capped salary and 25 days off a year, bro. Nobody says that you have to keep living this mediocre lifestyle. So, with that in mind, what have I learned and how exactly can you change the situation that you are in? Well, first of all, mate, you need to understand that the answer to this question isn't that complicated, but it does require a little bit of patience, a little bit of hard work, and of course, a willingness to learn. So if you can't commit to any of those things, honestly, I would just suggest for you to click off the video now, as there's not going to be much value for you in the remainder of this video. And seriously, now that I've mentioned those comments, I guarantee 90% of people watching this video will have clicked off, because the truth is, and this is the hard truth, most people just aren't willing to put in a little bit of dedication. So if you are still here, congratulations, because you are already hundreds and hundreds of steps ahead of the people who have quit. Survival of the fittest, baby. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it isn't necessarily the 9-to-5 job itself that you hate. I mean, you might think it is, and you might have convinced yourself that it is, but hear me out here, because more often than not, what you'll find is that the real reason for why you hate your job so much is because you spend so much of your time there. You hate the fact that you are restricted from being able to do whatever it is that you really want to do. In other words, it eliminates your freedom, and that is why you spend so much of your time working looking forward to the weekend, because on the weekend you're free to do whatever the goddamn hell you want, right? So now that we know that the issue is a lack of having free time, we can start to work out a bit of a solution to fix this problem, can't we? And if you're still not with me, or if you can't quite connect yourself to the things that I am saying, just ask yourself this question. Would you dread going into work every single day in the same way that you do if you only had to work for 1 hour per shift and you still got paid the same wage? The answer's no, isn't it? You'd bloody love that job. In fact, I can't think of many jobs that exist out there that I'd hate so badly that I couldn't even manage for just 1 hour of my day. I mean, Christ, I'd bloody love putting onions and potatoes on the shelf again if it meant that I only had to do it for 1 hour per day and still get paid the same wage that I did back then. Genuinely, I think I would. So essentially, what this means, bro, is that the perfect job is the one that takes the least amount of time. It's not the job that pays the best. It's not the job that's the easiest. It's not the job with the best bloody colleague banter. It's the one that gives you the most amount of freedom. So now that we've established that, and I really hope you're with me on this, what are the best jobs that can give us the most amount of freedom? Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and take you through every single job that there is in the world, but what I will say is that the job that you want is the one where you are in control of the hours that you spend doing it. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind here is running your own business, because when you run your own business, you literally choose how many hours you want to spend doing it. Once again, I'm not going to tell you what exact type of business to own or run, because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. But just remember, you don't need to reinvent the wheel with this, and I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is that they try to come up with something completely original. All you need to do is just choose something that other people have been successful in and create your own version of that product or that service, because literally every single new idea in the whole of history, right, is just a remix of other ideas. Nothing is original. But I would definitely suggest starting a business which is based online, because in my personal opinion, it is the most lucrative in our modern society. And of course, then you have the privilege of not only being able to choose how much time you spend on it, but also where in the world you are working from. I'd also suggest that you choose a business with a long-term strategy in mind, ensuring it is a business where the work can easily be outsourced. Just think, the goal here isn't to run a business, it's to own a business. And this is why 90% of people who run businesses end up burning out, because they end up working more hours on the business than what they did in their 9-to-5 job. But yeah, all in all, the 9-to-5 system and working per hour is a system that is just completely outdated. It is not the most efficient way of working and earning a living. Like, just think about this. Who the says a 9-to-5 job has to be the way that you work? It's not like it's a bloody universal law, is it? Who says you need 8 hours to achieve everything in the day that you need to achieve? Nobody, right? It's absolutely bollocks, bro. I guarantee you could get all of the necessary work completed from a 9-to-5 job in probably 3 hours per day max if you really knuckled down. But instead, you choose to fill out your day by doing things like going to the toilet and locking yourself in there just to scroll on your phone for 20 minutes, or by checking your emails 20 times a day just to look busy. And not to get too wishy-washy here, but I can't help but feel sometimes like the 9-to-5 system has been put out in place as a societal norm, right, just to dumb people down. Because if you think about it, a man with freedom is a man with time, and a man who has time is a man who has time to think, and a man with time to think is a man who can accomplish anything. So if you think about it, they are kind of a threat. So just think about that one for a moment. Believe you can, and you are more than halfway there.